just want you to start eating.
Can you pause it?
Welcome back. If you're new, hello. Today we're going to be making salmon. And to accompany that salmon, some corn. It's the middle of corn season, so might as well take advantage of it. So we're going to husk our own corn. If you don't have any fresh corn nearby or you're not bothered to it, you can totally go ahead and use canned corn. It's just going to be a little less sweet and a little more acidic. So I recommend go the extra step and get a whole cob yourself and just husk it. Takes 30 seconds to do, and that's it. So just pull off the husk and then make sure you clean off all those little strings, and that's about it. I'm going to show you a little trick on how to remove all those kernels from the cob, and it's quite simple and it saves you a lot of time in quite a big mess. So what you do is you take a large bowl with a smaller bowl in the center. I like to cover it with a towel so you don't ruin your knife. Put the corn on top of that and just slice down, and all those kernels are collected in the larger bowl, so it saves you that time of all the corn going everywhere. Along with that, you're going to need half of an onion that you're going to mince thin as you can go. And that corn, we're going to leave raw for the time being, just like that, and we'll cook it along with these onions. So first you want to get these onions with a little bit of oil into a saucepan until they're translucent. So once your onions are translucent, go ahead and add that corn to the pot, and we're going to have this covered, and we're going to let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes on medium-low heat until the water starts to release from the corn. And we're just going to add about a tablespoon of cold butter to this too. In the meantime, get some boiling water going, and we're going to peel cherry tomatoes. So slice an X on the bottom of the cherry tomato, and it's going to go straight into this boiling water for about 12 seconds. No longer than that, because you'll begin to cook the flesh itself. This is just so we can remove that skin so it's not chewy when you actually do cook the cherry tomatoes. So once those tomatoes have been in there for 12 to 15 seconds, kind of depends on the tomatoes themselves, so you'll start to notice the skin peels back and they're ready to be peeled. So go ahead and peel them. It should come off relatively easy. And from here, we're going to start warming up some olive oil because we're going to cook them in confit, so cook them in fat. So a little bit of olive oil. This is about a half cup of olive oil. We're going to throw a clove of garlic and some rosemary in there too. And once it starts to come to about 160 degrees is when it's ready to add the tomatoes. And we're going to add in the tomatoes, and that's it. We're not going to put it back on the heat, and we're going to let it cool in this olive oil, so they're going to kind of cook right now. From here, you can transfer it into a bowl and let this cool on the side. So while your tomatoes cool in that oil, we're going to chop some parsley. So this is going to be for the tomatoes and corn. So chop it up nice and fine. We're going to do this last minute because we want to keep this as green as possible. So always chop your herbs kind of towards the end whenever you're going to use them. So the corn's been on for about 5 minutes at this point. It's released a lot of liquid. We're going to add in about 2 tablespoons of Amontillado Sherry to give it some nuttiness. We're going to put that onto the stove and allow that to come to a boil to evaporate that alcohol out. And we're going to season that with salt, pepper, a little bit of lemon juice. And then from here, we're going to add in about a 1/4 cup of that minced parsley. And we're going to add in those confit tomatoes as well. So we're going to slowly add these in. Careful because they are soft, so they will break. So you don't want to mash them around. So just kind of throw them in there. And then we're going to add some of that olive oil that the tomatoes were cooked in with that rosemary and garlic, just to kind of season the corn as well. And now for the salmon itself. So this is super easy. In neutral oil into your pan, you're gonna get it nice and hot. Make sure your salmon is nice and dry. Just dry off the skin, pat it off, and we're going to season both sides of it. And once your oil is nice and hot, skin side down, and we're going to press, and this is going to keep the skin from buckling up and folding, so you can get a nice crispy skin. And we're going to push it down for about 10 to 15 seconds until it sticks, and then we're not going to touch it till it unsticks from the pan. It will unstick as soon as that skin is nice and crispy, so don't touch it. And if it doesn't want to unstick, then just keep letting it go. So you can see it just came off real easy. And we're just going to add in a pat of butter, and we're going to baste this, and it's going to cook relatively fast at this point. Same kind of theory with meat. You can kind of touch it and feel it. I like to stick in a cake tester, and if the cake tester comes out warm, it means that it's about medium. That's how I like my salmon. If you want it well done, just go till that cake tester comes out hot. Or you can tell very well when salmon's overcooked is when white albumin starts to come out of the salmon itself. We're gonna stop the cooking process by adding a little bit of lemon juice and keep basting with that butter, and that's it. To plate it up, we're going to add the corn with our tomatoes in, using a little mold here just so that it's a nice little pillow, if you would, or a table for the salmon to sit on. Make sure you get some of those tomatoes as well. And on top of the corn, we're going to put that salmon, and we're just going to finish it with a little squeeze of fresh lemon juice. And if you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us. And if you want to see more things like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much.